Hey guys, it's Lindsay. I just wanted to show you a couple more things about summarizing your data and give you an intro into the next thing we're going to be doing. So when we left off, we had our summary sheet here. We had added new data and I showed you how that updated based on the formulas. It was able to pick up those new values that we wanted. And so now I'm going to show you, you can do other things as well with this sheet if you wanted to do some other segment breaking up. Like, for example, let's say you wanted to look by product, like your product sales. And from sheet 1, you'll see that we basically kept it to 3 items, right? We've got a t-shirt and a sweater and a hat. We could easily use SKU numbers if that's what we wanted to do. I'm going to keep it with item name. I just think that's a little easier to follow along. But that's basically your reference that you could use to do your SUMIFs. So we've got a t-shirt, hat, and sweater. Okay, so I'm going to write my formula right here. It's going to be SUMIF. And you can actually build your formula while you're jumping between sheets. So I want to tell it that my range is going to be column C on sheet 1. And after that, I'm going to put a comma. My criteria, well, my criteria is back over here. I just want it to be the word t-shirt. You can leave the summary exclamation point in there, or you can take it out because that's the sheet that we're on. It really doesn't matter. This might just help you understand the formula later. Otherwise, you can get a little overwhelmed with how long formulas can get. So A7, that's what we want. And the sum range, again, is back on sheet 1. It's our column F. So you just click on that. It'll pick that up. And your parentheses, hit enter, and you've got your total. It's the same error we had before, just empty cells. So ignore it. I'm going to use the crosshair as we did before to drag down, and you can see that now the hats are being summed for the SUMIF here, and the sweaters are being summed if on this line here. So that's a way you could summarize it. Otherwise, as you can kind of get the hang of this, maybe you're seeing that you could sum by month, you could sum by sales rep, you could sum by SKU, you could sum by notes, like we have a notes section if you wanted to see how many orders were gift wrapped or whatever it is. If you've got a column and you've got a descriptor there that you want to use and get information around that, you can use it for the SUMIF function. So that may make you really excited, like, oh, now I can summarize all this data. You may get to a point though where you want to do something a little bit more complex. And I will talk to you about that in a second. I forgot that I wanted to bring up, there's another cool thing you can do to summarize your data if you want here. If this is as far as you want to take it, you may want to know quickly what is your percentage of, what is the contribution percentage, right, of each of your stores or each of your products to your total revenue. And I talked a little bit about relative reference, and I wanted to because I want to bring that up here when I show you how to do that. So let's say you want to show next to each store's revenue, what was the percentage that it contributed to your total revenue. So you would just do a simple equation, equals, take your store and do it divided by your total revenue, and that could be the end of it. You could hit enter. Okay, yeah, this isn't in the format that I want, but you could make it a percentage pretty easily, like so. I could have also clicked this button here. I don't tend to like too many decimal points, so I'm going to push that over. Just give me no decimal points. Now I can try to use the crosshairs to, if I could hold it, the crosshairs to scroll down here And you're gonna notice that that is incorrect. Obviously, 505 is not 104% of 1529. So what happened? Well, because it's still using relative references, it thinks that I wanted not only the first character to move down, but also the second one. And so you're like, well, that was useless. Now I have to just do these formulas over. Well, no, if you go to your first formula and you change the piece that you want to an absolute reference, which in this case is our total revenue, it's this B1, you can do that. And so the way that you do that is put a $ before each of the areas, the B and the 1, the column and the row number. And that makes this an absolute reference. In Windows, I know the keyboard shortcut is F4. If you're just on that number in your formula, you hit F4, this will automatically come up for you. I'm not sure what it is on a Mac. I will have to look that up and put it in the notes or something after this. So, but that's how you do absolute reference. I just need it on that last number. I'm gonna hit enter and I'm gonna do my cross hair again here, drag this down, and now you can see that my number's changed and it is referencing that top number. Okay, so cool. So I'm all over the place. I'm gonna jump back to what I was talking about before, which is now you get excited and you're like, I can do so many more cool things, you know, because this is gonna update dynamically and that's great. But let's say you wanted to know 2 things at once. Say you wanted to know my first store and you wanted to know first quarter sales. Unfortunately, you can do a lot of complicated formulas. You know, there's certain variations of and, ifs, and indexing that I've heard people use. But to be quite honest with you, Excel's made it a lot easier with pivot tables. It's not a new thing, but a lot of people still don't know how to use it, but you should know how to use it, and you can be like a boss with it, because people will be blown away by what you can do. And I mean, that's cool and great and all, I'm not gonna say I don't love that, but it also will just make your life a ton easier. So coming soon, I will start jumping into pivot tables because I think you can handle it.